We should nominate a really good candidate who just wears a motorcycle helmet the whole time.
Like the Masked Singer?
The whole campaign, yes. We should. That's how we should do.
You don't know till the end.
Presidential campaigns, yes. And we like alter their voice so you can't tell if it's a man or a woman. And at the very end, like they take off it, and if they're a woman, they like flip their hair around, and it's just this big reveal. And welcome back. You're listening to Hysteria, the podcast for people who think that the phrase "let's do the fucking news" and "see you in Valhalla" have the same dorky ass energy.
That is some extreme dorky energy.
Let's do the fucking news. Let's do the fucking news is something that Bari Weiss, a certifiable dork, said to the staffers of CBS News in, I think, her first speech as the new editor-in-chief. Paramount announced that Bari Weiss has been appointed as the CBS News EIC. Her company, the Free Press, will now operate under Paramount as well. CBS News is home to programs such as 60 Minutes and Sunday Morning, and now it's home to one of the most obnoxious toadies in the world of journalism.
Yes.
So if you're not familiar with the miserable grifter, Bari Weiss, here is the lowdown. She was an opinion editor at the Wall Street Journal, but left after the 2016 election when she felt the publication was not liberal enough. She's always complaining. That's her thing.
Nothing's
She's
ever
always
right. Goldilocks.
Exactly. And then she became an opinion editor at the New York Times. She just wrote I saw a takedown of her this week that described her as having the heart of a cop and the brain of a tadpole. And I tend to agree, having read many of her columns. She rage quit in 2020 after receiving backlash for publishing Senator Tom Cotton's op-ed with the headline, "Send in the Troops," where he called for a military response to protests over George Floyd's murder. Wow, that seems kind of quaint now, right?
I mean,
people were mad. People were outraged that a sitting U.S. senator would propose sending troops to an American city.
Right.
Moment of silence for
times gone by.
Shred of sanity that we used to have. Bari Weiss is also one of those really tiresome people that's like, I'm a liberal, but she claims she still voted for Biden in 2020, but her alignment was creeping toward the right. I do not believe
why? I don't care who you voted for. I don't care. It's not as if you're using it as a signifier, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Also, she was doing way more damage with her writing than she was making a difference with her vote.
But also, she talks so much all the time about how tough she is, and she doesn't care about criticism. Well, girl, you had to know you were going to get backlash for the Tom Cotton thing, which, by the way, I have no problem with. Free speech. They can run his op-ed. We can hate it. It's fine. But, I don't know. I'm beginning to think maybe her skin's not that thick.
No. She started the Free Press, an anti-woke, anti-media establishment newsletter originally called Common Sense, with her sister and spouse, which evolved into a full-fledged media company in 2022. It's made waves for its staunchly pro-Israel, anti-trans, anti-COVID lockdown, and anti-DEI coverage. Bari Weiss has no broadcast experience, but according to reports, she is not expected to be running day-to-day operations at CBS. Her responsibilities will lie more in shaping the network's editorial direction, which is code for helping the network appeal to more right-leaning viewers. Pretty ironic that the anti-establishment lady is heading back to the establishment. I feel like CBS here is trying to slough off some of the Fox News audience.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, Bari's not blonde enough to attract any, CBS is never going to be like a sexy leg cam thing.
No, I mean, Bari's whole shtick is creating a universe where the ultra wealthy can rationalize the idea that they think they are victims, right? That's not the Fox News crowd. Mm-hmm. In the Venn diagram, there's not a lot of overlap. But one of the other crazy things about this whole thing is the Ellisons behind all of this also looking to acquire Warner Brothers and Discovery, which means in theory, if it goes through, which it probably will, she would also oversee CNN.
I mean, nobody watches CNN.
I watch CNN, okay? I watch CNN after 4 o'clock.
I mean,
I'm just saying, between that and the fact they have TikTok, that's just a lot of platforms to potentially be infected.
I will push back this way. I think that every time what they're trying, what Ellison et al. Are trying to do is to reach new audiences, right? With CBS, they're hoping to capture, I don't know who they're imagining is out there that doesn't know about Bari Weiss that Bari Weiss would appeal to.
Right.
I feel like her audience has found her already.
I totally agree.
And like there's no scalability to what she did at the Free Press, especially when it comes to like TV. But I also think like acquiring TikTok from a propaganda perspective would be an attempt to reach young people. I'm just going to say that young people tend to flee when a specific type of media becomes taken over by people that are like trying to, when it becomes flooded with like millennials and baby boomers, it like young people are not going to spend as much time on TikTok. That's just how it's always worked. People were on Twitter and then they fled to Instagram. People fled Instagram to TikTok. And like there's going to be something else where young people go to communicate away from the old people that are trying to convince them to agree with their like wonkish positions. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be a big crash and burn is my expectation. And I really rub my hands together in anticipation. I really, really can't wait. Now we've got a really light topic. In a Quinnipiac poll last month, 54% of voters had an unfavorable view of the Democratic Party, the lowest favorability score they've gotten since the poll started in 2008. A new American University poll from the university's Women in Politics Institute found that nearly 1 in 5 voters say that they or someone they're close to would not elect a woman presidential candidate. What are we doing? Alyssa?
What do you mean?
I mean, 2 things. 1, nobody likes the Democrats. I don't like the Democrats. I'm going to say that. They're really making me... I like some Democrats, but like Democrats as a whole, as a party... I've got to say, I've like voted Democrat in every single election.
Me too.
That I can vote Democrat. And like, I am annoyed with them as well. So,
yes.
But at the same time, I recognize that the Democratic Party is the best option for getting out of whatever it is that we're in.
Right. I feel like part of the problem is where the Democratic Party is a bit rudderless, right? Like try to think of a time when there hasn't been some sort of, I am using the following word very loosely, charismatic leader, right? You'd have to go back, I think, to 2000, which predates this poll, when Clinton, sort of popular-ish by the end, but had to be silenced because impeachment. Gore loses to Bush, in the Supreme Court. So
the most consequential election of our lifetime.
Yes, that. But because of the way that the election ended, also kind of went quiet for a while. I think Pelosi wasn't speaker yet. I think maybe Ed Rendell was still the head of the DNC, he was a very big figure at the DNC. Like as a DNC chair, it was a very prominent position back then. So like maybe you could count Rendell, though still not the same. Going through history, we had Tip O'Neill, we have had Nancy Pelosi. I mean, like even when we haven't had the presidency, there have been people that you could look at and be like, you know what? People are listening to them. They speak for the party. They're listening to the party. And so I feel like we're kind of back to 2000. And in 2000, the difference then was if I think Ed Rendell was still there, he'd be the person you'd see on TV. It was before social media. It was kind of before the 24/7 cable news cycle. So you still at least felt that people knew what the fuck was that someone knew what the fuck was going on. And I think now you have social media, which means any elected official can have an opinion and get it out into the world. And, Pelosi, who be angry with her or what, she could count votes and she was a leader that could, whip people into action for the years that she was either speaker or leader. So I feel like this is a necessary quagmire we've got to go through to come out with some good things.
Yeah. The thing that I think I agree with you about the lack of a charismatic leader, and that doesn't mean that we have a lack of charisma in the party.
We do
not have incredibly charismatic members of the party that are being denied the ability to be leaders. Like, because the people that have been there the longest and people who have been company men or women, but mostly men for the longest, are the ones that are, like, Democrats are so... They have subjugated themselves to seniority. Like they are so like lockstep in like only letting people advance that they feel like have paid their dues or aligned themselves with the right people, instead of just being like, look, internal politics of the Democratic Party aside, who makes sense for us to elevate from the perspective for voters, like you've got AOC, for example. Like, she's a great communicator.
She is.
And she continues to be shut out of positions that would give her more power within the party.
Well, that was like one of the biggest mistakes the party made. And people say maybe Nancy Pelosi had something to do with it. So, whatever. But when she went up against Jerry Connolly for House Oversight, that is like the biggest podium. It is the head of House Oversight is who all of the media usually wants to talk to. It's like that in judiciary. And, that was stupid.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that it comes from like people, I don't know, people just not wanting to let some like hotshot upstart. It becomes like an ego thing. I think people inside the party that have been there for a long time.
Totally.
Like, they don't want to let some, like, young hotshot who thinks they know everything, like, take over. And you know what? The party shouldn't be completely taken over by young hotshots who think they know everything. But there needs to be some young hotshots who appeal to young people in positions of authority. You can't just be all old rule followers.
And you know who's, like, pretty good about giving a platform to new upshots? The Republicans.
The Republicans are good at that.
They're good at it. And if they had decided to give AOC to support her being head of House Oversight, look what they've done with Katie Britt. I mean, like, there are examples in the Republican Party of people who are AOC's age, have the same level of experience, and for some reason, the Republican Party is more willing to give the benefit of the doubt. And the crazy thing is that it is so clear that at some point, AOC is going to run for president, right? And if they had let her be chair, which she is qualified to have been chair of the House Oversight, it would have given her like a different level of experience on her resume, taking her from excellent campaigner to elite governor, like elite
decision maker, investigator, I guess prosecutor in a way.
Yeah.
The Katie Britt example is a really good one, because when you said Katie Britt, the first thing I thought about was that weird little State of the Union response she gave in her kitchen. But actually, I think that the Republican Party is really good at letting younger members or newer members make mistakes or like come out when they're like maybe a little bit green, because I think that's the only way that they get better. Remember Marco Rubio's State of the Union response?
With all the water?
But now he's the Secretary of State. He's humiliated himself. He seems like he's having a really bad time.
He's not having fun.
No, but he is an example, and Katie Britt is an example of somebody that Republicans were like, yeah, get out there. Like, get out there, be like one of our messengers, and even if you're not like the very best at it, even if you haven't been doing it for as long as, say, Marsha Blackburn or whatever, like, I know, she is an idiot.
And the thing about the Katie Britt is that I do think it was because of Katie Britt that the Democrats actually even had the idea to have Alyssa Slotkin do it last year. Like, I don't think they would have come to that conclusion had they could have been like, wait, is it possible we have a smarter, better Katie Britt?
But there are like young men in the party too.
Yeah,
I think that like
absolutely.
we talk about Democrats like losing young men. There are young men in the party who are great communicators. I think James Tallarico.
For sure, from Texas.
He's a really good communicator. He seems very like good at social media.
Very
not that those
cherubic.
Yes, I know. Yeah, exactly. You're just like,
he's a good boy.
And again, that's not all that people with those skill sets should not be the only people in Democratic Party leadership, but we need a little bit more diversity of skill sets and like tools. We can't have a Swiss Army knife that is just all old combs, And that's where we're at right now, is we just have this thing and it's like, oh, cool, there's like 6 little things I can flip out here. It's like, well, this is the same thing as this one, and this is the same thing as we need to diversify. I mean that in every sense
way
of the word.
Every way.
We need people with different skill sets. We need people with different backgrounds, different ages, different levels of experience. Because I don't know, I think the Democratic Party reminds people of like a workplace that is like top heavy and slow and non-functional and not nimble, like because the leadership isn't.
The Democratic Party right now feels a little like the equivalent of the very laborious 360 review you have to do of an employee twice a year, but nothing changes.
Yeah. Hysteria is brought to you by Nutrafol. Alyssa, you've probably seen a million ads for hair growth and thought, sure, like that actually works. Mm-hmm. I did too. Until I found out that Nutrafol isn't like the rest of them. Nutrafol is physician-formulated, clinically tested, and dermatologist recommended. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people.
Nutrafol is the first and only hair growth supplement to be NSF certified for sport testing against over 290 athletic banned substances, toxicology reviews, ingredient testing, label verification, and annual manufacturing facility audits to ensure FDA requirements are met. See,
I'm for that sentence. But I wasn't planning on going to the Olympics.
I know.
But it's nice to know that I can
keep
use
all of our options open
and compete in Tour de France. That's
Listen.
The next 2026 goal. I'm gonna have full thick hair, just and you're billowing behind me
riding a bike through Europe.
Yes, as I ride my bike through the French countryside.
See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code Hysteria10. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Hysteria10. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Hysteria10. Hysteria is brought to you by Article. Erin, is spooky season better on your outdoor furniture?
Spooky season is better on my outdoor furniture. We decorate our yard big time. Have
you started?
We have, but the graveyard isn't done yet. Like the lights are up and the big pieces have been assembled, but the like final touches aren't done yet. And I think we're gonna do like some kind of lighting ceremony on Friday or something. And from the Article couch that sits on our front porch, I love sitting outside. I live in a very pleasant climate. And it's really important for me to be able to spend time in the outdoors.
Yeah.
And sometimes I also have to work, which sucks, right? But my couch from Article that sits on my front porch is my new favorite place to work. It's my favorite place to just hang out at the end of the day, listen to a little bit of music, watch the neighborhood children walk by our yard and point at various giant sculptures that my husband has assembled.
Welcome spooky season from your sofa.
Article has curated collections for every style. Article offers a curated range of mid-century modern, coastal, and Scandi-inspired pieces that not only shine on their own, but also pair seamlessly with nearly any other Article product. That's great for me because, like, I'm not one of those people that can match things.
No.
I can't do it.
No, you'll always regret it if you match.
I'm not a curator. I need someone to curate for me. Article takes great care in curating its collection, focusing solely on high-quality, meaningful pieces that will stand the test of time. There's no filler. Every item is chosen for its craftsmanship, design, and lasting value. You can immediately tell the difference in quality when you receive an Article piece.
Article's offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/hysteria, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/hysteria for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
Okay, so the other part of this that I wanted to talk about is nearly 1 in 5 voters say that they or someone they're close to would not elect a woman presidential candidate. What do you make of that?
Yeah. I mean, it's very sad.
I'm going to sound controversial here.
And?
There is what I wish was true and what I'm fighting my whole life and what I've written about and my whole heart wants to be true and what I think is true, and those things are two separate things. The world that I want to build toward versus the world that is. And the world that I want to build toward is one where people are comfortable electing a woman president.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're there. I just don't.
No.
Donald Trump won.
Most the rest of the world has gotten there. But not us. We're not there.
This country is first of all, it's a deeply racist place, and it's a deeply sexist place, and both of those attitudes are very expensive. And we're seeing it play out right now. Like, racism and sexism got Donald Trump elected. Both times. Well, not so much racism the first time, but people were mad about Barack Obama.
Oh, like, yeah, girl, 100% the first time.
Racism and sexism got Donald Trump elected both
Pendulum
times.
swung back hard.
Yeah, and the pendulum is swung back so hard it's about to break the whole fucking glass. You know, it's about to ruin the whole clock. I feel about 2028 that, like, man, I don't want to be like, we can't nominate a woman, but there's a part of me that's like, I will be so nervous if the Democrats nominate a woman. I will just like be so...
No, Tinder hooks. We will, I mean, maybe by then, I don't even know.
You know what we should do is we should nominate a really good candidate who just wears a motorcycle helmet the whole time.
Like the Masked Singer?
The whole campaign, yes. That's how we should do.
You don't know till the end.
Presidential campaigns, yes. And we like alter their voice so you can't tell if it's a man or a woman. And at the very end, like they take off it. And if they're a woman, they like flip their hair around and it's just this big reveal. I think that'd be great. But I also think, speaking of like optics, because I think America is so like poisoned by the entertainment that it watches and like the news that it watches. It perpetuates what it expects to see and who it votes for. So like it votes for the guy who they think looks like the president. You know, it's like a mini version of how like Donald Trump staffs his cabinet. He like appoints the person he thinks looks like should have the job rather than the person whose resume says they should have the job. That's how Pete Hegseth became our secretary. He's such a dork.
DUI hire.
Yeah, our DUI hire. But he looks like a G.I. Joe. So, you know.
I mean, he doesn't though. That's what's so funny. It's like if you wanted I will never forget when Barack Obama walked on Air Force One for the first time and saw the pilot and was like, this is exactly what I want the captain of Air Force One to look like. And he was like a tough, kind of grizzled old guy with like a buzz cut. Pete Hegseth is pretty.
That's true.
Like he focuses.
He used to be prettier.
His nighttime grooming is a production, you know, and that's not exactly. I think that he is cosplaying the pretty version of what he thinks people want. But I think that people would prefer to see like Storm and Norman Schwarzkopf.
Sure, but my point stands that like people make political decisions based on like how they expect things to look, which is based on movies they've watched. And I feel like watching like Pam Bondi, you know, in that hearing, I know I brought it up a lot, but it just seems like the most like the apex version of this, which is like people acting like how they think they're supposed to act based on things they've seen in movies. Like you've seen like ICE agents say tough guy things like, look now, bitch. It's like, ugh, you got that from a movie. Like,
how many times have we heard we can do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way?
I said that to my my almost 4-year-old today.
Look.
I was like, we could do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way.
I'm sure she picked up what you were putting down.
But I wasn't trying to extort her. I was trying to get her to let me wash her hair. Yeah, anyway, like this thing about our obsession with like how things are supposed to look, I think the way that we need to counteract it is we need to have less cameras.
I agree.
No more cameras in congressional hearings. It should be audio only, like the Supreme Court, for the time being, until we get ourselves straightened out.
I agree.
I think that like the news should end at 10 p.m. every night. 10 p.m. It's done. You can't be on the news over. It's not 24.
Yes.
Like it is.
Completely agree.
Because there's too many people who get so excited about being on camera. And then when they get on camera, they act like other people that they've seen be on camera. And then it becomes this copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And now we're living in the like barbarian mom version of reality where everything is like way crazier than it should be. I just think let's put the cameras away. No cameras in courtrooms. I know it's entertaining, but we should just put it away. No cameras in Congress. If I were like the next president, I would issue an executive order that was like people in Congress in the Senate.
Audio only.
Audio only. Yes.
Audio
you cannot
only.
do video appearances. Audio only. It's for your safety. These are heightened, tense times. Anyway.
So you know a funny thing about your position right there?
Yeah.
Is that years ago, Barack Obama said to me once, I was on my way down to a meeting. He says, what meeting are you going to? I said, going down to the sit room. I have a meeting with military office. And he's like, I feel like you'd really benefit from conference calls only. And I was like, what do you mean? And it's because he's like, when you're on the phone, I've heard you on the phone. You are you are a tough person. He goes, but the minute you go from the Wizard of Oz to Punky Brewster.
He called you Punky Brewster?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm friendly with Soleil now, so that's fine. But like it was true though. Sometimes just hearing someone's voice is plenty. Don't need to see what everybody looks like.
Absolutely. And then I just to end this on some hope, because I'm not saying that I don't think a woman should be president. I think that there's
so many. You think it's going to be Katie Britt?
That would really bum me out.
I know.
That would really bum me out. I don't think it's going to be Katie Britt. If we're going to look optimistically, I think that there are a lot of talented young people on the Democratic bench that have not been given as much of a chance as they deserve. And I think over the next couple of election cycles, just picking people out of Mallory McMorrow is another good example.
Totally.
Of somebody who's a really good communicator who is young, but I find that she doesn't really... Mallory, apologies. It's not that she doesn't read young. It's that she comes across as very classy, self-assured, and sophisticated.
And her voice has something to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But just because you're young doesn't mean that you're immature.
Right. Of course not. But
So we've got a lot of talent. And
there's a lot of talent.
I think the path for Democrats to get people to dislike them less is to allow some of that fresh talent to rise to the top and not be defensive about earned positions.
Well, and here's an interesting point too. If they just engaged in a little bit of organization here, they could come up with their Ocean's 11 lineup, right? Okay, need to go after Republicans. We're going to send AOC, get out there. We're going to talk about abortion. Let's send Tallarico to the more conservative places because he speaks about it in a way that is very soothing. You could have a real grid of who's best at what and deploy them as such instead of letting people pick their poison, which unfortunately is a lot of times them trying to go viral on something that they shouldn't in a sort of silly way.
Yeah. Remember how in 2016 everyone was making fun of Pokemon Go to the polls?
Yes. Oh,
that
God.
would be the least cringe thing that had come out. If that were coming out today, that would be the least cringe thing that Democratic leadership was saying.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Alyssa, you have an interview.
Oh, I do. Mayci Neeley.
Mayci Neeley from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, who is objectively the best one.
She's the best one. Though Whitney's killing it on Dancing with the Stars right now. Welcome back to Hysteria, the podcast that will remain caffeinated. Thank you very much. Today, we're giving a warm Hysteria welcome to Mayci Neeley. Mayci is one of the stars of my favorite shows, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. She's an entrepreneur, a mom, a very excellent tennis player, and a newly minted author. I absolutely loved her new memoir, I Told You So. Mayci, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, so Mayci, Mormons can't have coffee, but they can have a 44-ounce Dr. Pepper Polar Pop. Make it make sense for me.
I know. I mean, I do drink coffee now, so...
Oh, you do?
It had to make sense for me, and I was like, this doesn't make sense, because soda is synthetic, and my coffee isn't, usually. I mean, I do put little sweeteners in there, but for the most part, I was like, this isn't really aligned with me anymore, so I do drink coffee, but I do mix in my sodas because, I love a good crispy soda.
Well, listen, now you've got me. I have to tell you something. I haven't had a soda. I'm going to be 50 years old. I haven't had a soda in over 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
I did, reading your multiple iterations of different Dr. Pepper things, I did have a Coke and it was fucking delicious.
Wasn't it so good?
It was delicious. So now it's I'm working it in as a little treat, but
it is. It's a good little treat.
It was delicious. Okay, so got to be honest. I was skeptical of your show, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, at first, years ago when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to find reality shows a bit shrill. There's always a lot of yelling, flipping of tables. And I have to be honest, you are the reason I kept watching.
Oh my gosh, you're so nice.
Then there was something in the show, you were always kind of you and Michaela, but especially you're kind of a little bit off to the side. You're kind of hovering above it all. And then I read your book and I totally got it. Because
it makes sense now, right?
Yes, it 100% makes sense. So your writing is very revealing personally. This is it's not about others. This is not a burn book. This is like, I was really moved by it. And like, obviously, some of your observations are pretty fucking hilarious. So for just to give listeners a taste, because we're here to talk about your book, but we don't want to give away too much because we want everyone to go buy the book. So one of my favorite lines, quote, "The lake house isn't anything special. It's clear Dick's family spends money on toys, not interiors." I like how I thought that was like the funniest thing. So
it was true.
You don't hold back the good, the bad, the sad, the very sad. Why did you decide, you're still very young, why did you decide to write this book now?
I think it's because I experienced a lot in my younger years that most people experience like in their whole lifetime. At least that's what I've been told. Like people have told me I've experienced so much from my young age. And I just feel like it was time, you know, like if I write another book in the future, another memoir about like from now till, you know, the next 20 years, then sure. But I feel like if I were to write a memoir in 20 years of everything, that book would be like 1,000 pages. Yeah. So I basically just like felt like it was time, you know?
When I left the White House and people wanted me to write a book, I was like, I don't have anything to say. And then I wrote 2 books. And so I can't wait to see your other books, because my second book was funnier than my first, I think.
I love that. I love that.
So there's The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We've got Sister Wives Show. Mayci, why do you think audiences are so obsessed with certain facets of Mormon culture right now?
Honestly, I don't know, actually. That's the question that I'm asking myself. I don't get it. I'm like, what's so interesting? And I think, too, like, it could be because, like, there's so many, I don't want to say, like, misunderstandings. It's probably not the right word that I'm using, but, like, I swear I have postpartum brain right now. Like, my brain is not working.
That's okay. I have perimenopause, so we're good.
I just, like, there's so much, like, misinformation, too, of, like, Mormonism. Like, what's a Mormon? And, like, I think our show kind of shows you, like, it's not like one size fits all. Like, you can do this and that. And it's like, it's not like you should pick and choose what you want in the religion, but I think it's kind of like everyone lives it differently. And we kind of show that. But like, there's other documentaries about how Mormons are like, you know, polygamists, or they're in like a cult or different things like that. And so I feel like that is why it's so interesting to people, because this show kind of gives a different spin on like what it's like to be a Mormon, right? But the show isn't all about religion, but I truly don't understand why people are so intrigued by Mormons. I really don't understand it. Maybe because I am one.
And I don't know why, but
really?
I am. I have been for years. Yeah. I just think it's really interesting, because I think I was raised without religion. My parents were both raised with religion. And then when they had me, they were like, decide for yourself.
Yeah.
And ever since then, all through college, I took religion courses. I got like the highest grade in my Hebrew and translation course.
Love it.
But I think it's because growing up, we're like Mormonism and people who are Mormon are painted as like very other, and like you're not at all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And I do think it's like the culture is different in different states. So I think that's also part of it. Like the Utah culture is different than where I grew up in California. So I think it's kind of also like everyone's living different experiences probably in the Mormon religion, you know? But yeah, it still confuses me why it's so interesting to people. I like don't get it, but yeah.
Well, you're all the better for it.
Yeah.
Hysteria is brought to you by Jones Road Beauty.
Erin, I love Jones Road Beauty. Can you tell?
I'm wearing it right now.
Me too. What are you wearing? I have the Miracle Balm on.
I'm wearing the Miracle Balm on my cheeks. Something that I need out of makeup, just as a pale woman. I need something that feels good, doesn't make my skin mad, and makes me not look dead. A lot of makeup does. And Jones Road Beauty absolutely checks all of the boxes for me.
Also, let me tell you, as a midlife woman, my skin is so dry that I avoid makeup at all costs, except the Miracle Balm. Look how hydrated I look.
You look so hydrated.
I look very hydrated. I have it in like 3 or 4 different colors. Even the Au Naturel, which basically just looked like sparkles. But when I put it on, it looks like I'm hydrated.
Jones Road Beauty is a minimalist makeup brand founded by makeup artist Bobbi Brown that creates versatile and easy-to-use products that simplify your routine. It is clean makeup that actually performs.
Jones Road products enhance what makes you you rather than covering you up. Their best seller is Miracle Balm, which we just talked about, the ultimate makeup skincare hybrid product that gives a natural glow. It's a true multitasker. You can use it as tint, blush, bronzer, highlight, or on lips. I've used it on all.
Jones Road also has a full lineup of effortless skin-first staples, like their Just Enough tinted moisturizer. I'm going to say I'm not like, you're a little ahead of me age-wise.
Yeah.
But I'm like getting there, you know?
Yeah.
And I think as I like pass through my late 30s, a lot of foundations are just like, I can't do it anymore. It looks weird. It sits on my skin weird. So a tinted moisturizer is where it's at. And I love Jones Road's tinted moisturizer. It hides redness, looks natural, and feels like nothing on your skin. It's packed with skin-friendly ingredients to keep skin moisturized without clogging pores.
Modern day makeup that's clean, strategic, and multifunctional for effortless routines. For a limited time, our listeners are getting a free cool gloss on their first purchase when they use code Hysteria at checkout. Just head to jonesroadbeauty.com and use code Hysteria at checkout. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you.
Hysteria is brought to you by Smalls. What's something funny my cat recently did? Continue to stay alive.
I
She's
know.
still alive,
God
people.
Bless. She is the esprit de corps of spooky season.
She literally looks like a skeleton that you can get at Michael's. She looks so rough. She looks so rough. She's 21 years old enough to drink. You know,
Still enjoying herself, though.
I think with a cosigner, she can rent a car. She's so old, but she's still got, she's slowing down a little bit, but she's still got a lot of energy. She's still like running around. She'll chase like a reflection of the sun sometimes. And I think part of that is because for her entire life, even when I could barely afford to feed myself, I fed her the best food that I could get for her. And as soon as I was introduced to Smalls, as soon as I was introduced to Smalls and before she had to go to her special renal diet, which is a thing that all old cats have to do. It's gross and expensive. She was fed Smalls. She ate Smalls, and it's really, really good cat food. It is fresh, protein-rich meals that support cat health and happiness, helps them live their best 9 lives. And I feel strongly, I know correlation isn't causation, but I feel strongly that the quality of the food that I was able to feed her is part of the reason why she's still around, creeping everyone out.
I need Smalls because every time I bring a rescue cat into this house, they have an uneasy stomach. Yeah. And so we've got to go back to basics. And Miss Clementine over here, we like to call her Martha Dump Truck because she goes and just eats everybody's food. So we are going through a lot of Smalls right now.
Smalls also has a bunch of amazing treats and snacks you can add to your order. So, if you're somebody who likes to kind of give your cat a little special surprise, and then they're sort of like, okay, give me the surprise every time. Like, that's a good thing to consider. It can be a holiday gift. Cats don't know it's Christmas. They think every day they deserve gifts. Mm-hmm. So, whatever, just make up a fake cat holiday. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. That's a pretty big deal. And the team at Smalls is so confident your cat will love their product that you can try it risk-free. That means they'll refund you if your cat won't eat their food.
What are you waiting for? Give your cat the food they deserve. For a limited time, because you're a Hysteria listener, get 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/hysteria. One last time, that's 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/hysteria. In the beginning of your book, you say you're going to Brigham Young University to play tennis, but that after that, you want to get married, have kids, you don't want to work. Mm-hmm. But here we are. You're an author, you're a founder, right? Yep. You're CEO of your company,
yes,
right? Baby mama, which by the way, because I don't like to interview anyone who I've not done all my research on. I ordered your vitamins and I like them very much.
Oh, good.
I do.
I'm so glad you like them.
You are a reality TV star. What did you see or live through when you were younger that made you change your mind, that sort of got you here and realized you wanted all this?
I think for me, like I was the youngest in the family, so it's kind of just like doing what my sisters and stuff before me did. And also like my mom was a stay-at-home mom my whole life. And I loved that though, because I was with her so much. Like I had my parents for the most part in my household. My dad did travel a lot with his work, but I was like with my mom all the time. Like we would, since I was the youngest and I had a pretty big age gap, like me and my mom would just go on dates to Disneyland at night, being like, oh, should we just go to Disneyland tonight? Like it was just like so fun. So I think that's just kind of what I grew up being like, that's what's normal for me and that's what I will do. And, I think when I became a single mom, I was like, I don't really have a choice. Like I better step it up and have a career. Like I'm going to have to support my son. Like I just didn't know what was in my life path. Like I honestly didn't think I'd get married till I was like 28 and like I'd, like have a relationship later in my life. And it just so happened to happen pretty quickly after having my son. But I just knew I wanted to step it up. And I think I realized I was being very like complacent and I was like, why was I not trying? Like, why was I just like I mean, being a mom is the best role you can have, right? But I was like, why was I just gonna, go through the motions? Like, I'm just be a mom and not try it, like, and I do think being a mom is like number one, always my best role, and like it's the hardest role. And but I think for me, I needed something more, because like the personality that I have, I like crave like success, and like, I don't want to say like winning, because I'm not competitive.
Well, you're competitive, but you are competitive.
I'm not in my career as much, like as far as like I need the best. Like I'm not like that. Like I'm happy for everyone, their opportunities. And I'm like, if someone gets something, I'm like, I know my time will come. Like it's about abundance, right? But like as far as like sports, very competitive. So it's like, it's funny though. I just like I needed something to make me feel fulfilled, and being a mom is that, but it also like I needed something else to like, I don't know, feel that feeling that I miss with like competing. And so I think that's what was beneficial to me. It's like I was a stay-at-home mom, I guess, for one summer after I got married. I'm like, damn, this is hard. Like, and it was,
when you were in Texas.
Yes, when I was in Texas, and I was like, this is really hard. And also because we had like no money, so it's like we couldn't like, we weren't even really supposed to buy food like out, and that's my favorite thing ever. Like I love to eat. I love eating out. And so like I was like, I can't even afford food. Like the parks are so hot. I can't even take him to a park. Like everything indoor costs money. So I was like, it was really tricky. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I'd hang out with my sister there and like her mom friends, and they're like, today was so great. Like we went to Target and then we got them down for a nap. And I'm like, wait, like that's what you did all day? Like, and that's great for some people. If they feel like that is what fulfills them and they feel that satisfaction, that's amazing. But I don't, for me. And so I knew I needed something else to like make me feel that feeling and that drive and that like motivation in my everyday life. And so it was that summer where I was like, yeah, like I think I need to do something additional. And regardless, I knew I needed to, because like my husband was still student. Like I knew I needed to help provide for the family. And I guess just took it too far, because I think I wanted a certain lifestyle. So I was like working a full-time job. I was doing social media, and then I was also doing videography and photography on the side to make money. So I always have been like working like 60 hours a week or more. Like it's just normal for me at this point, And if I don't, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so lazy. That goes the way I was just raised to go.
Yeah, your family is very high achieving. It sounds.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the book, you talk about how you had been raised like in the church, pro-life, but now you consider yourself more of a feminist. What was it about your pregnancy at 19 that made you think about the choices other women should be able to have?
Yeah, I think when I was younger too, going through it, I was like, oh my gosh, like of course pro-choice, because I had an unwanted pregnancy and I chose to keep, and I chose to do like, all the things, and I think as I've gotten older and heard other people's experiences, and like, I'm a very open-minded person, I would say in general, just seeing what other people and other women have to go through as well. I'm like, okay, well, it's not the same for everyone. Like, I think I realized too how privileged I was to be in a household where like, like my parents weren't going to let me like live on the street, like they were like obviously accepted me in, and like I had the resources to make it happen. Right. But not everyone has those resources. And so I think going through that, and also I think like, I don't want to say like getting pregnant made me a little bitter, like, but like, I'm just saying like the women have all the responsibility. Like we are the ones who get pregnant outside of marriage in a religious culture. And like, we are the ones who look bad, right? Like we look like a slut, whatever, right? That's what the stereotypes are saying, right? Because we're pregnant and like we're coming to church. I was going to church pregnant, and I'm like, I'm the one who looks bad, but the guy can just run scot-free. No one even knows he got someone pregnant. And so I think in my head, I'm like, why do women have all the consequences? Like, why is it up to us, To
that point, I actually wanted to talk about your bishop.
Okay, oh my gosh.
I had like such beef with your bishop. So, but this is sort of to that point, because after you got pregnant, you had to see your bishop to get to sort of be reaccepted into the church, right? You had to like do your penance. Yeah. And this bishop, you have to see, number one, when he saw you sobbing at Eric's funeral, your baby's daddy, who had been killed tragically when you were just a couple weeks pregnant. Yeah. The bishop said he was glad to see you showing emotion. Yeah. And then went out and told everyone in your ward that you were pregnant. Yeah. So I would have a very hard time. I hold a grudge. I'd have a very hard time getting over that. Yeah. But so it's just like my personal rant. Yeah. But so given all of that, what is your relationship with the church now after all of that and your religion?
I would say like I still have a good relationship with where I stand in the church, but it's like I have different viewpoints than I did back then as I've grown up and stuff. And like my brain has developed. I always say that because I'm like, I swear it makes a huge difference. Like
your full frontal cortex is now
that's
formed.
what I'm saying. And my dad used to always say that to me. He's like, well, you talk to me when your brain is fully developed, then you'll understand. And I was like, you're so dumb. And then like, I feel like when it did happen, I was like, wait, you're kind of right. But I feel like, I still have a good relationship in the church. I'm active, but I do have different viewpoints and standpoints and like don't agree with certain things. Obviously, like my daughter is never going to confess to a bishop. Like that's never going to happen. If she feels like the need to do that in the future, I will be there, or like another woman representative will be in the room. Like I just feel like it's very uncomfy for a woman have to go, repent and say things that they did sexually with another man. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right with me.
No.
Don't love that. So that's definitely not happening in the future. And my mom agrees too. Like my mom has, a calling in the church. She's a Relief Society president, which basically means like she helps like with the women and make sure they're all doing well and like takes care of them and stuff like that. And I feel like we talk about it too. And she's completely in complete agreement with me on this. And like, I feel like all of us our viewpoints have changed a little bit, like from what I've gone through. But yeah, I think like I just take a more modern approach on being a member of the church. And by that, like certain things I just don't agree with that. I'm just not going to do it in my life. And then also, I do drink coffee now and I don't wear my garments all the time. And like, that's okay with me. I'm like, I don't feel like any less of a member or a person. And I think I base all my religion on my relationship with like Jesus and God. And that's kind of like my foundation. And then obviously like being a good person, being very family oriented, like, but those are like, I guess I had like the main Christian values that like most people who are Christian have.
The book ends just as the first season of The Secret Lives is wrapping and you're having your premiere. Mm-hmm. So how has your life changed since that first season?
Yeah, no, it's changed. It's like the same, but it's different. Like, it's changed a lot, but not really. Like, obviously, like, we go out and people recognize us or they start filming us, like things like that. Right. And like, that's obviously a little different. Like you get that here and there in the past because we did the influencer thing. So we already had like a platform, but obviously that's really heightened now. And then just these crazy experiences that we're all having. Like, it's very surreal. Like, I have a book coming out and then there's Dancing with the Stars, there's Bachelorette. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, this is so crazy. And it's all happened in 1 year, which is so bizarre to me. So I think it's changed in the fact that like, we're just so busy now. Like, I don't even have a moment to like chill, which is great because again, I tell you, if I chill, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so lazy. So definitely don't feel that anymore. But yeah, it's definitely hard to balance too. I think like being a mom, having a new baby and like feeling mom guilt of like, wait, like, am I doing enough with my kids and stuff? So I made it a priority now of filming too, being like, okay, this is my schedule. Like, I'm not missing the baseball games. I'm not missing the soccer games for my daughter. Like, I'm very clear now where I feel like season 1, I was like, you're just so excited. You're right. So it's like, I wasn't, I was missing certain things that I wanted to be there for my kids and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, like filming takes priority. And I'm like, now I feel like I had to change my mindset, right? Being like, no. Like my family is always my number one priority. And it was back then, but like there were certain little things that I sacrificed for the show that now I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I have to prioritize things and be very careful with my schedule and what I'm giving energy to, because like my time right now, I feel like with everything going on is so precious to me.
When you're being filmed for your reality show, is it weird? I mean, are you self-conscious at all? I'm just curious because I had like a handful of like photo shoots in my life and I act a fool. I get so uptight and nervous and I make weird faces. Have you settled into it that like you guys can have real conversations and not really notice that they're there?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I feel like maybe the first season a couple times in the beginning, like I know for a fact, like, and I talk about in the book, like my first scene ever with Taylor.
I went back and watched it.
And I'm like, we're both like, like just smiling, like all weird. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know. I think it's just because it was so new that I was like, this is so crazy. Like, oh my gosh. Like, and now it's just like normal. So I feel like we're all used to the cameras being around and you honestly forget they're there. And I also think that's why our show, people love it, is because most of us haven't watched reality TV where it's like the table flipping and like sometimes things are a little played up, where we're just kind of like there living our lives and like doing what we do and cameras just happen to be there, which is I think why our show does so well, is because it's just kind of like what we're already doing, like just being authentic to who we are. And I know season 3 there is a lot of iPhone footage in certain spaces, which means that like camera crew wasn't there and people were capturing it on their iPhones because crazy stuff is just like happening naturally. And it's just so bizarre. Sometimes I'm like, how is this real life? I think that every time we go to film, it's like, nothing's really crazy going on. I feel like we start filming and I'm like, whoa. And it's not even like it's staged. That's what's crazy. It's like, it's real life. It just happens in these like certain moments that is just wild, you know?
Is Mom Talk officially back?
I mean, yes. I mean, it's never really been away. It's more just like...
Well, you guys had a lot of issues in season 2.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I know. We definitely did. It's like Mom Talk's still always going to be there, but it's like, who's going to be in it? That's always subjective. Like, who knows who's mad one week and who's not? You know, it's like, I feel like people like to come and go as they please, and that's where like the drama comes in, right? But as far as everyone back together, I don't know. I don't even know. I feel like that changes like week by week with different people. I know I'm here. I'm always around. I'm like, I'm not someone who's like, I'm out, peace. Like, I'm not like that. Right. I'm just kind of like, you'll see, like, I never unfollow anyone either. Like, even when I have beef with people, I don't think I've ever unfollowed anyone unless they unfollowed me first. Like, I'm not someone who's like, unfollow.
When Taylor went to the CMAs and no one commented on her Instagram, was that really not coordinated?
I swear on my life it wasn't. That's what's so...
I got deep into that. I was like, come on. I'm like, I started looking at everybody's Instagrams. And I was like, I have to know more.
Well, that whole situation, loved Taylor to death, but she did not handle that well. And I say that too because it's like everyone, from what I know, maybe I'm wrong, but everyone privately was texting her about it, being like, I'm so proud of you, so much support, right? So it's like, yeah, sure, a lot of us are online, but we are so busy. Like, I'm online for like posting my own stuff. I'm not usually like scrolling. If I do see someone's post, I'll comment, try to like it, right? But we're all so busy. And not to have to give myself an excuse for that day, but let me just give context on what was going on in my life, because everyone's like, what a coincidence for everyone. I'm like, no, like, I was at dinner with my husband celebrating just physically signing my book agreement. So we were like celebrating. And that same exact day that we were celebrating, I got news that I was officially pregnant for my IVF clinic. So we were out like celebrating.
Oh, objectively, you had bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. So I was like, I remember seeing her post at dinner with my husband, liking it. And we were like at dinner. He's like, hey, like, let's like enjoy it together. Like, let's put our phones out. I'm like, oh, you're so right. I'll comment on this later. So I remember liking it and being like, okay, like I'll comment on this later. And I forgot. But it only had been 23 hours. So like, since then she blasted all of us. I'm like, wait, give us at least a couple days, you know, like if I would have remembered, I would have went back and, commented on it. But at the end of the day, I much prefer private support than public. Like, people can comment my posts all day long. Great. Love that. But like, if someone texts me, that's way more meaningful to me than public support, you know? So like, I think that's why we were all confused, being like, wait, and we saw you the other day, we were like congratulating you in person, like at the Thanksgiving dinner, we were all like, talking about it, congratulating her. So that's why it was confusing, I think, to all of us, because we're like, wait a second, what's going on?
Speaking of Taylor, you mentioned before, she is the new Bachelorette.
Yes.
Okay.
So excited.
Okay. Are you going to watch?
Oh, 100%. Every week. I'm like, I'll be hosting watch parties in my house. Like, I will be there.
Is Taylor still a practicing Mormon? Like, will the church survive her being on The Bachelorette?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know how much Taylor practices religion. I don't know. I don't know where she stands with like church and stuff like that. Like, I know she goes here and there, but like, I know she's like, doesn't care if a guy's Mormon that she's going on the show for. She just kind of wants them to be religious, but I don't know. She doesn't really care. So I honestly don't know where she stands in her religion and her journey, nor is it my business. I'm like, everyone, you do you, I'll do me. Like, we're all good. So
Dancing with the Stars, who are you rooting for?
Oh my gosh, I keep getting asked this, and like,
obviously, it's like low-hanging fruit.
I know, call me a fence rider all you want, but I have been voting equally for them every week because that's just who I am, you know? I can't, like, it's hard to choose because I'm good with both of them. Love Jen. Honestly, me and Whitney have had our ups and downs, but I genuinely love her, and I'm like so excited for her doing this. If you can just tell, like, her whole aura is like,
she's living her best life.
Oh my gosh,
right now.
yeah. And I'm like so happy for her. She just seems like so happy too. And like, same with Jen. So I am voting for both of them. And also because I know I wouldn't hear the end of it if I did vote for one versus the other. And they're probably going to make us show screen recordings or something of our voting text messages, knowing this whole show experience. So I'm like, I'm not about to get roped into some drama. Like, regardless, even if you were to ask me off camera, I would say the same thing. Like, I wouldn't be able to choose because I genuinely am so.
No, I get it. I wouldn't
either.
It's
too hard. Like, and they're both so good. So it's like, I don't know. It would be too hard to pick one versus the other. So,
well, Mayci, I really wish you the best and hope your book is a bestseller.
Like,
everyone can go buy it now.
Yes.
When does the new season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives drop?
Oh, yes. November 13th. Set your reminders. It's going to be 13th. Juicy. Yeah.
It's going to be juicy. Mayci, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. So fun.